it underneath the plate. You can go right next to it.
Wait, order.
Okay, on the other side. You can go on the other side. Are you guys all set and ready? Everybody ready?
Yep. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Raybrook. I'm Major Peter Arcady, Troop B Commander for the New York State Police. We're joined here this morning by members of the Cohoes Police Department, the U.S. Marshals, and the New York State Forest Rangers. This is a fluid, multi-agency investigation consisting of members of the U.S. Marshals Task Force, New York State Forest Rangers, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Saranac Lake, Lake Placid, Plattsburgh City, and the Ticonderoga Police Departments, the Clinton and Essex County Sheriff's Departments, the Franklin County District Attorney's Office, the Northern Regional Response Team, along with several other agencies who are assisting the Cohoes Police Department and the New York State Police with this ongoing investigation. I would like to discuss our efforts regarding the search for our suspect, 53-year-old Anthony G. Bayshand of Cohoes, New York. He fled the scene of a homicide that occurred on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, at approximately 8:30 a.m. During the morning of Sunday, September 14th, 2025, the Cohoes Police Department received a call regarding a deceased female located inside a residence on Earl Lane Court. The Cohoes Police Department arrived on scene and located 41-year-old Amanda Rodriguez of Cohoes, New York, deceased. Our sincerest condolences go out to Amanda's family. An investigation determined that Anthony G. Bayshand, age 53, fled the scene. And on September 14th, 2025, approximately 5:30 p.m., a white 2024 Chevrolet Silverado, known to be operated by and belong to Anthony Bayshand, was located on County Route 60 at the intersection with State Route 86 in the town of Brighton in Franklin County. Mr. Bayshand is described as a white male, approximately 5 feet 11 inches tall, hazel eyes, grayish-brown hair, weighing between 180 and 210 pounds. He is believed to have fled the area where his truck was located in an unknown direction with an unknown clothing description. There was indication from the search of the vehicle that Mr. Bayshand likely had an injury to his left side. However, the severity of this injury is unknown. Search efforts have commenced from the location of his truck throughout the surrounding areas. Law enforcement agencies are conducting organized searches over a several-mile radius from the hamlet of Gabriel. The heaviest concentration of our search efforts have been the mile-and-a-half area north towards Malone and south towards Lake Clear. During these searches, various methods have been used to include structure clearing techniques and grid searches to navigate the heavily forested terrain. Our law enforcement partners are utilizing a variety of resources, such as canines, drones, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft. We are also using ATVs, UTVs, and officers on foot. So far, we've logged over 600 miles of recorded tracks over an area covering more than 950 acres. Our teams have visited over 240 residences and dwellings in an attempt to conduct interviews and search the areas. The U.S. Marshals and Crime Stoppers are offering a combined $7,500 reward for information leading to the location and arrest of Mr. Bayshand. If anyone has seen Mr. Bayshand or may have unknowingly given him a ride, we strongly encourage you to come forward. I assure you, there will be no legal consequences. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to contact the New York State Police. We are asking you to share any tips, even if you believe they've already been reported to law enforcement. You can reach us at 518-897-2000. We also ask that those of you hearing this message share it with your family and friends from outside the area. If you have trail cameras, please review the footage, as you may have pertinent information. If you notice anything suspicious, please report it immediately to law enforcement. With hunting season approaching in this area, we want to remind everyone to exercise caution. Please be aware of your surroundings and what you're shooting at, as there may be law enforcement present in the wooded area. Those of you that will be present in the woods or traveling to your camps, be cognizant in those areas. If you notice campfires, campsites, strange odors, or anything unusual, please reach out to us. In closing, I want to express our deep sorrow for the loss of Amanda Rodriguez. Our goal is to bring her family justice and to locate Anthony Bachet. Our number again for tips is 518-897-2000. Thank you for your attention. At this time, members of our investigative team will be available to take questions.
Is there evidence suggesting that he may have committed suicide?
There's nothing we have at this point in time to lead us to that conclusion.
Have family or close contacts been cooperative in the investigation so far? Is any information gleaned from talking?
All family and friends have been cooperative.
Have there been any evidence at all that he was here other than his truck? Like any other signs of his presence other than the truck?
No.
Do we believe he may have crossed the border to Canada?
It's one of those, we don't have any reason to believe, we don't have any leads leading us in that direction at this time. So until leads or information point us otherwise, we're still concentrating on searching. Not that we're not searching or exploring those avenues.
Was his truck out of gas when it was found?
Yes, it was.
Are there any concerns that he might be in St. Lawrence County or maybe that way?
Same to like the Canadian question. We don't have any information that leads us out that way, but we are still exploring those options and if we get tips for that area, we're following up on those.
What about his cell phone records or credit card activity? Anything on that?
So we don't have any recent cell phone or financial history with them.
You said there's evidence he fled. What is that evidence?
Fled from Cohoes to up here. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, like fled from the scene. What evidence was there that he was there at the time of the murder?
I can tell you that through the investigation conducted down there, and interviews with some of the neighbors, they saw his truck there, and then they saw his truck leave shortly after the time frame that we were able to determine was the time of the incident.
What led investigators to believe that he sustained an injury in leaving his truck or at that scene?
There was forensic biological evidence in the truck.
Is there any previous criminal record?
For Mr. Bishan, no, that was previously stated, he has no prior criminal history.
Why is the search just being focused a 1.5 mile radius from the truck?
The search area is a lot larger than that. Where that concentration was a grid search to look for any signs of direction that he may have planned for.
Does he have any known ties to the area? Any family, friends, anybody really go hunting up in hunting cabins or anything like that? That lead you up there?
We don't have any information that he had any ties to this area other than the victim.
I know it's densely forested area. So can you describe some of the challenges in searching these forests?
For anybody that's been up in this area, I mean, the woods up here, especially in the Adirondacks, not only do we have, significant elevation, but the terrain, the forest is very, very densely populated in some areas. While we're doing grid searches, we can only be 3 to 5 feet apart from each other.
Should Anthony be considered armed and dangerous?
I would say that, yes. I mean, we don't have anything to say that he's armed, but we always have to use that caution, especially up here in the North Country. But I would say yes.
Did he have a past criminal record by any?
No, there was no prior criminal history.
So would this matter be considered a threat to the public?
I believe that there is a threat to the public, right? You have somebody who we think is responsible for committing a homicide who is now desperate and on the run. So yes, for those reasons, we think that there is concern for the public.
What's the advice to folks who live in this area right now?
Could you say that again? What's the advice?
To folks who live in that area.
So I think what's important to emphasize is what we would ask. This is an appeal to the public and those that are here in the area or have camps in the area or residences in the area, seasonal homes in the area, is to check on them and to report any suspicious activity. You know, as the major stated, we would want to make sure that they come forward and share that information with us because that information may lead us to this, to Bishan.
But in terms of like just personal safety, like folks going out for a hike alone, folks who live in the area where his truck was found.
That night.
Yeah, is there, what's the message to people who live in the area and who are out and about?
Stay alert, be aware. Perhaps don't go places alone, right? Like make sure that people are aware of where you're going.
Somebody know where you're going, so your family knows, your friends know, and they know what time you're expected to be back.
Are you positive that he acted alone in the killing of Amanda Rodriguez and is still alone now?
First part, yes, we believe that he was alone. Second part, we don't know if whether he's gotten help in unintentional or intentional help up here in this area.
Have police heard from anyone who saw him here? Like, by the truck?
There is no sightings of him since we know that the truck was here.
Do we know when his cell phone was last used?
Cell phone activity was last in the area where the truck was.
How far away from the border is, for people who aren't sure, the topography and how far away from the border, and especially on foot, how long would it take him if he did make a?
It's around 40 miles straight as a crow flies from where the vehicle is located to roughly where the Canadian border is. You're talking on foot. There's a lot of variables with that one. That was really kind of a difficult question to answer.
So more than likely, it would take him a while. To
Yeah, it would take definitely some time.
So with the cell phone last being seen at the truck, were state police able to, for investigators, able to access it when information was looking for? Was anything from that?
Physical device was not there.
Have you worked with Canadian law enforcement? Have you had conversations with them about the situation? What have they said?
We've made notification to the Canadian counterparts, that they're aware of the situation. But again, we don't have anything directly to information to provide to them to get them to search in a certain area, but they are aware of the situation.
We have a good working relationship with the Canadian authorities.
Has the murder weapon been found?
I wouldn't want to comment on some of the specifics. We can't get into those because of the potential of a pending prosecution. We just can't get into some of the details of the evidence that we have.
Could it be possible that someone drove in a different car separately with him up here? Or is there evidence to rule that out?
We believe the most likely scenario is that he came up here alone.
Was Camp Gabriel searched? The former state prison?
Several times.
Have you spoken to family and friends of Anthony? If so, what have they said about his characteristics? Was he a violent person?
I don't have any information on that.
Yeah, as far as the information regarding the family interviews and stuff like that, there was, as far as that information, we were asking more about like what he is like up here. As far as his past history, there was no indication that he'd be violent up here, but also giving it why we're looking for him, we obviously can't rule that out.
I think this question's already been asked too, but did he have any sort of connections to the North Country up here or anything like that?
The only connection he had to the North Country was the victim's family.
What led to Rodriguez's mother calling police with concern?
She hadn't talked to her daughter. I think that was unusual to go 24 hours without speaking. So she asked a friend to go and check the residence.
How frustrating is this investigation?
What are you asking?
Any one of you.
So I don't look at it as frustration. I look at it as like we're facing a difficult task, and we all are working together to embrace that task and get after the problem and locate and capture Bishan.
I agree with what he's saying. I think that we all want this to come to a quick resolution, but the level of cooperation, the amount of effort that's put into it, there's no frustration there because this is an amazing example of teamwork and the tremendous effort being conducted between the state police and the forest rangers and the marshals and all the law enforcement partners the Major previously mentioned. In that regard, I've never seen anything that's worked as well as this has, but there is obviously that underlying frustration of not having found him yet.
How does it compare to other searches, especially if you take out the fact that it's a rural wooded, thickly wooded area? How do you compare this search to other ones you've been involved in?
So the one thing that is a little different, right, is that we are in this rugged environment in the Adirondacks, right? So I know you just mentioned that, but that makes this search unique. We also have a scenario where the last proof of life has been over a week now, right, approaching 2 weeks. So that can occur with other searches by comparison, but sometimes, we're just waiting for that breadcrumb of evidence or information that's going to help lead us to capture.
How long will the search be active?
It's really not we don't have like a deadline set or some sort of next triggering event that's going to conclude this massive search effort. We have not even discussed it. And so right now our posture is we're all in. This team up here and our law enforcement professionals and partners around the region are all in on this. And our aim is to locate and capture him.
When you say all in, can you detail exactly or approximately how many law enforcement personnel have been involved in the search?
My estimations would be probably over 100, maybe even approaching 200 in terms of law enforcement professionals. On any given day, you have between 30 and 50 in the last week. Is that a fair estimate?
With it hunting season, and you're going to have more boots on the ground, basically passively searching. How much do you think that would help as far as covering the terrain? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be looking not only for game, but also him as well.
Yes, that's a great question. And that ties into that appeal to the public. We really, your eyes and ears are extremely important. And, anything out of the ordinary, anything that you think might be suspicious or might be connected to Bishan, we definitely want to hear from hunters or, homeowners in the region. We want to hear from them.
Are there any changes to that 30 to 50 people per day going forward if nothing happens, or is that going to continue, at least for the time being?
So that's a great question. As I stated, we really don't have an end date in mind right now. But sure, at some point in time, if we continue and there is zero signs or evidence to suggest that he's still in the area, then of course we'll have to reevaluate the resources that are committed to it.
But that's not being done at this time?
No, we are focused on the task ahead and are fully committed to this.
I'm wondering, are there any law enforcement that are out there searching for him right now that have also searched for the two prison escapees at Dannemora as well? Is there any sort of overlap there? Are there any sort of characteristics or similarities that law enforcement is seeing in terms of how to tackle this approach, how to find him?
So you do have, standing before you, you do have veterans of the Dannemora escape here. Many of us were involved in that back in June of 2015. And we are borrowing from that playbook, right, in terms of what efforts were made then that could help in future searches.
What information is there to believe that he is still alive and not deceased?
We don't have anything conclusive to suggest that he's alive or deceased. However, we are, as you explore different possible theories or outcomes that could have happened here, right? Because of the amount of effort in the search in this area, we believe that it's less likely that he's deceased and more likely that he is alive and still here in the area.
And were
Go ahead.
And were there any drugs or substances found in the vehicle?
No, there wasn't.
Does he have a history of drug use?
He's never been arrested. As far as any unknown drug history or anything else, not that I'm completely aware.
He's never been. Oh,
Going off on the hunting season, it's also leaf peeping season in the area. Are there any concerns that he could have hitched a ride and be well out of the area by now?
Yes, that's a viable outcome as well.
In terms of the injuries sustained at the truck, do investigators think it would have anything to limit his mobility drastically, or would he still be able to cover ground as if it was injured?
It's too difficult to tell or determine from what was in the truck, just that there was evidence supporting the fact that he may have some type of injury.
What?
Yes.
And I assume that you've reached out to local hospitals and there hasn't been any turning up with this description.
Are you using cadaver dogs?
We've used a bunch of different types of canine assets, everything from bloodhounds to tracking dogs to cadaver dogs, a bunch of different type of canine resources.
Have you done a toxicology test on the blood?
All the forensic evidence is still at the lab being tested.
Is it possible the blood is the victim's and not his?
I don't believe so.
Have you spoken with any of the victims' family or friends about anything they might help you to lead you to Anthony?
They've all been spoke to. There's no direct information because he doesn't have ties to this area. So there's no direct information really that would lead us or point us in a certain direction for this particular search.
So speak to the relationship between the victim and the suspect, how long they've been in relation for, knowing each other, serious it was.
I don't know the exact length of time. She had resided in that house in Cohoes for 10 years, it appears. Not sure how long they were together in that relationship.
There was mention of possible connection of the victim to the North Country. What is that connection with family, friends?
The victim's family.
where specifically? Is it in Malone? Is that?
In the Franklin County area from Malone and the Malone area.
How are they feeling, knowing that he's still out there?
I can't answer that.
Is it fair to say that no evidence outside of his truck has been found to suggest or connected to him? Nothing has been found, right?
Correct.
With no new significant updates in the search, what was the goal of today's press conference? Was it to just reassure the public that you guys are continuing to search for him, and there's a plea out there for help?
Yeah, we want the public to know that we're out there searching as hard as we possibly can, given the weather and the terrain, and that we need their help, and we solicit their help in helping us find him. With the leaves coming off the trees and more people getting back into the woods to their camps, hoping somebody will see something and say something to us.
Is it possible to get the names and titles of the other three guys who've been talking?
Can you, just say them?
Yeah.
And spell
It's
them?
Bell.
So my name is Stu Smith, S-T-U, last name Smith, and I'm the Assistant Chief Inspector with the U.S. Marshal Service.
Todd Walden, Toddwaldin, Police Chief of the City of Cohoes.
Trevor Giroux, Trever, Girous, Senior Investigator of Major Crimes.
Of the police
New York City Police.
And just so I get this right too, where are we looking today for him right now? I want to make sure I get that part right. Where's the search happening now?
So the searches today are concentrating, like we're going more out toward the cabin areas, campsites. We're still doing those type of searches today. Due to some of the weather constraints today, we're concentrating on that type of searching. Finding the camps, cabins, campsites, any type of structure like that somebody would try to get out of the weather or anything like that.
Is there directionality to that, or just out from where the truck is found in all directions?
So, yeah, I mean, each day, obviously, we have different thoughts, different plans that we're going with. Yeah, today we're concentrating both north and to the western areas.
Just to go in more detail about why do you believe that he is still alive rather than deceased?
I come to that conclusion, and I think Trevor does as well, because of the level of effort, the intensive search effort here in the immediate vicinity of where the truck was. We think it's most probable that if he were to have committed suicide, that it would have been somewhat close to where the truck was, right? And because of that comprehensive search of that region and not discovering his remains, that leads me to believe that he's likely to still be alive.
You mentioned that he didn't have any ties up here, that the victim had ties up here. And yet he was making his way up here. Was he going to the victim's family, do we think, or have we explored that? Why he was coming up here?
Obviously, that would be a thought, but there's nothing to lead us to that conclusion whatsoever.
Would there be a heightened level of concern for the family that it's still trying to theoretically make his way to them and potentially respond?
Again, we don't have anything leading us to that conclusion. We're staying in contact with the family and letting her know that, the search efforts are continuing. We're constantly having our patrols, our members who are doing the searching, also concentrating and touching base with them on a basis.
How many tips have come in?
I would say at this point in time, we're over probably 200 tips
Any
that
of
we've
them,
followed up on.
any of them helpful?
Not yet, not at this point in time, but we're still following up on anything. Again, kind of, at any point in time, it could just be that one little tiny piece of information that kind of gets us going back in the right direction where you sent it to.
But just speaking on those tips, we are extremely appreciative that the public is reaching out and with good information, some that closely resemble matching matching Bichon that we are following up on. So it's been extremely helpful that the tips are coming in, whether it's to help us confirm or deny a possible sighting of Bichon.
For people who are seeing this press conference now and are wondering where's a picture of him, where's the easiest place to find a picture of him, his description, where's the easiest place to pull up that information?
I think that's been released a few times from the state police and it's available online. And then after this press conference, we can make sure that you have images of him. And we appreciate you asking that question because we want to make sure we got quality images out there of him that could.
And the proper pronunciation of his name is it Bichon?
Well, that's a good question. I followed the chief's lead, the major's lead. I think they pronounce it Bichon, right?
This is a question for Chief Walden. Could you describe the crime scene a little bit more? I mean, the injuries she sustained, anything more from that?
I really can't, beyond what we already released, which was the direct verbiage from the death certificate that we put out to the press. I really can't get into the details of the crime scene.
Is he the only suspect?
The way I phrased it before is that you explore all the avenues, obviously. Anything, that gives you evidence is what you're going to follow. And when you start with close friends, family members, and relatives, and you're able to speak to all of them and rule them out, you have to make the one person who was her intimate partner, the one who resided with her and now can't be found going on 12 days, the prime suspect. But I wouldn't say from the beginning that, if the focus was entirely on him. You have to just look at every possible connection that there is.
So is it possible that he too could be a victim and could have been brought
I think that's extremely unlikely and not part of the equation.
This will be the last question, right? Whoever decides to send it out.
Would you
Does
say
everybody have an? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Would you say that there is sufficient evidence that he committed this murder?
Keep this to you.
There there is a lot of evidence that has been recovered. There's more being recovered every day. A lot of the search warrants take time. A lot of the electronic devices, a lot of phone downloads and other things that you need to put the case together completely. But from what the investigators have found so far, there is a lot of evidence that points to Mr. Bishan, yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming. We're going to keep working together as a team until we solve this.